Towards the end of the day, the topography changes slightly, and the cross-country tourists encounter their first rolling hills. Throughout the day, the weather stays sunny and cool, perfect biking weather. Ben's ankles continue to hurt all day, but do see some slight improvement. Alright, so I'm going to explain what's going on here. We just had to stop. It's almost 8 o'clock. It's still the second day. Because Jonathan has an RC session to do, and you might not know what RC is, so I can explain it. It's sort of a peer counseling thing where people get together and sort of talk things out that are going on in their lives. And Jonathan does this normally, in Knoxville face-to-face with people, but since he's on the road, he decided he would do it over cell phone like once a week. And I think it's a little crazy, personally. It's almost dark, and we still haven't found a place to camp. And Jonathan's gonna do his RC session, which I don't know, it takes an hour, I guess. I'm sure it's gonna be dark by the time he gets done. We're just out here beside the highway. So, it looks like he might not be doing it. What's going on?
So there wasn't anybody home. Yeah, it's funny, I feel like the whole, drama of trying to, both, figure out how to do this call and, sort of interact with you about it.
You felt like I was really mad about it, didn't you?
Well, no, it wasn't that, it was more just awkward.
Yeah.
And that was more re-stimulating is the word. Both the stress of man, where am I gonna find a place to do this?
It's the RC word.
Yeah, and then the person I was gonna be co-counseling with wasn't there, so then I also feel kind of let down about that. So it's I would have been sort of further along.
So are you gonna do the session with him again next time? Is he always your session person?
No, I actually have, so that whoever's watching this will get a view into the inner workings of RC. Oh my god, there's somebody looking at us.
Whoa. It's a stop sign.
It's because I'm talking about RC.
Paranoid.
So hopefully John will call me back and be like, oh hey man, sorry I missed this, your call, and we'll set up another time. So I actually, much to Ben's chagrin, I have another session set up, I think, for Thursday night. So, and I have to call Tracy. I get to call Tracy at 8 tomorrow. So.
You get to.
Yeah. So so I guess I've got a phone call each night.
Do you think he was like, oh, Jonathan's out on a bike trip, I don't really need to do RC?
Well,
probably just flaked out on it.
About John is he's sort of the person in the community who kind of acts the least enthusiastic about RC, and I definitely have one inclination, which is that, hey, I'm on this bike trip, that's a close to re-emerged activity.
What does that mean, re-emerged?
Re-emergence is sort of
childhood.
No.
Is it getting in touch with your inner child?
No. Re-emergence is how if we were able to walk away from all of our emotional baggage, the person we would be our fully re-emerged self.
Right.
Whatever. So this bike trip seems pretty present. I feel I can be pretty present on this bike trip. It kind of seems silly to do RC, and John is probably someone who would he wouldn't do RC if he was on a trip, I don't think.
Oh yeah,
so he's more likely to be
Ben asks Jonathan, can't you just talk to me about your problems? After all, they would have unlimited amounts of time on the trip to talk. Or would they eventually reach the point where they didn't want to talk to each other at all? Ben is annoyed that Jonathan planned to take time and energy from the trip to keep these appointments, but on some level he also might be hurt that Jonathan doesn't seem to want to rely on him to communicate his problems. Jonathan needing to stop to make calls and Ben having to worry about it would become a theme throughout the trip. Besides Jonathan's counseling session calls, also his calls to his sweetheart would increasingly become a source of tension. With the sun beginning to set and the chosen destination still 15 to 20 miles off, the travelers decide to try to camp somewhere in the town of Rice, Virginia. Riding through a neighborhood in town, they find a lot where the timber has recently been cleared, and they ask at the neighboring house if they can pitch their tent there. After a phone call to the owners of the cleared land and an answer in the negative, the neighbors let Ben and Jonathan camp behind their house. There they prepare their first camp dinner of the trip, ramen and tuna, and only a little while after dark it is cool enough that Jonathan can see his breath. Ben remarks that it is only because they are eating hot soup.